We will start by looking at hablar, which means to speak or to talk. Now there are two parts to verbs in Spanish. There is the infinitive ending, which is AR for AR verbs. So this is our infinitive ending here. And that is equivalent to the to in an English verb. So when we say hablar, it literally means to speak. So just as we would not say I to speak, we would not say yo hablar. Instead, we have to change these verbs in both English and Spanish so that it makes sense. In English, we would say I speak, and in Spanish, we say yo hablo. This process of changing the verb so that it reflects its subject is called conjugation. And we do that by dropping our infinitive ending and attaching a different ending to what is left, which is called the stem. And that is the second part of a verb in Spanish. So because the verb endings, in this case it is O, must match their subjects, it's appropriate that we base those endings off of the subject pronouns. So let's review our Spanish subject pronouns. We have yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, and I'll just abbreviate a little bit, vosotros, vosotras, and ellos, ellas, ustedes. So each of these subject pronouns or groups of subject pronouns will have its own conjugation ending, and they are as follows. Yo, o, tú, has, él, ella, usted, a, nosotros, nosotras, amos, and vosotros, vosotras, ais, accent on the a, and finally ellos, ellas, ustedes, an. So let's see exactly how we got to this yo hablo. Well, we started out with a subject, yo, and our verb, hablar. Then we dropped the infinitive ending and we're left with our stem. To this, we added our conjugation ending, o, leaving yo hablo, which means I speak. Now that we've seen the yo form of hablar, let's look at hablar conjugated for all the other subject pronouns. So we have yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, and ellos, ellas, ustedes. And we have our endings, o, has, a, amos, ais, and an. And our verb, hablar. So again, first thing we want to do, drop that infinitive ending. So we're left with just our stem. And we're going to add our stem to our conjugation endings to equal the final form of the verb. So let's add our stem to our conjugation endings. We've seen yo before. Yo hablo, I speak. Tú, stem, and ending. Tú hablas, you speak. Él, ella, usted, stem, ending. Él, ella, usted habla, he, she, or you speaks. Nosotros, nosotras, stem, and ending. Hablamos, we speak. Vosotros, vosotras, stem and ending. Vosotros, vosotros, habláis, you plural speak. And ellos, ellas, ustedes, stem ending, hablan, they or you plural speak. Now let's look at some verbs that are not necessarily hablar and some subjects of those verbs that aren't necessarily subject pronouns. And there's a 4-step process that I like to follow in conjugating these verbs. The first step is to identify the subject, and if that subject is not already a subject pronoun, you want to find the subject pronoun that would replace it. Step 2 is to identify your verb and drop the infinitive ending so you're left with a stem. Step 3, choose your conjugation ending based on the subject pronoun. And finally, add ending to stem. So you're just going to put that ending right onto the stem. So our first example, we'll stick with the subject pronoun for this first one. And we'll say our subject is ellos, and our verb is bailar, which means to dance. So first thing we do, identify our subject. Pretty easy, ellos. It's already subject pronoun, so we don't have to worry about that. Step 1, done. Step 2, identify our verb and make it into its stem. Here's our verb, and we're going to drop our infinitive ending, drop that AR, so we're left with our stem, B-A-I-L. Next, we choose our conjugation ending. So we see our subject is ellos, which means we need an, so this will be our ending. And step 4, we just add that ending right onto our stem, like so. Ellos bailan, they dance. They dance. Alright, now let's try with some real people. We will have Marta y Maria. Amanda. Okay. And they will sing, cantar, which means to sing. Okay. So first what we have to do is identify our subject. Well, we have our subject here, but Marta and Maria aren't on our little chart of conjugation endings, so we need to figure out which subject pronoun would replace Marta and Maria. So, what do we know? We know that it's plural, because there are 2, and we know that it's feminine, because both of them are girls. And we know that it's in the 3rd person, because we're not addressing them directly, and we are not speaking as Marta or Maria. So that means we need a yes. So we can just write that down here as a little reminder to ourselves that we need the conjugation for a yes in step 3. Step 2, identify our verb, cantar, to sing, drop our infinitive ending, and we're left with our stem, C-A-N-T. Then choose our conjugation, remembering that we're working with a yes. So our conjugation will again be an, and we're just going to drop that right onto our stem. So we have Marta y Maria cantan, Marta and Maria sing. Alright, let's do one more. Number 3. Tú y yo. And this will be plural. We're working with our subject, step 1, plural. We will default to masculine, and it's in the 1st person because we have yo in there, which means we need nosotros. So, nosotros. Then we have our verb. I didn't write the verb yet. What will we be doing? We will practicar, practice. Practicar, to practice. Okay, so we're going to drop the infinitive ending, take our stem, and add the ending for nosotros, which is amos. Tú y yo practicamos. You and I practice.